Hi everyone, good morning. First of all, confirm my audio video all good. Then we will be proceeding with our last unit 6 of module A. Please confirm my audio video all good. Please confirm my audio video. Please confirm. Good morning everyone. Good morning, good morning. Please confirm my audio video all good. All okay? Chali. So we have started in our previous session, unit 6, correct? About controlling. So firstly, we will be seeing what things we have covered and then what things are left. Afterwards, we will be covering all those things. So yes, I will be sharing each and everything. But before that, let's focus on the board. Then we will be sharing each and everything. Okay. As soon as we complete this chapter, we will be sharing everything. Now, firstly, we have seen what is the meaning of this controlling. After that, we have started what are the characteristics of this controlling, correct? And then we have seen what are the different advantages and also what are the limitations of controlling. Along with that, we have seen what are the types. We now know that we have 3 types to control the management, and that is first feedback control, proactive control, and concurrent controls. After that, we have also seen the steps so that we can control our process. And then the relationship. What's the relationship between this planning and controlling? With the full this slide, we understood what is the relationship, correct? After this, we have started with control techniques. Under this, we have seen there are 2 types of techniques. One is traditional and next is modern. So in our previous class, we have completed what is this personal observations, what is break-even analysis, statistical reports, and budgetary controls. And also from modern techniques, we have covered return on investments, which is also known as ROI, and financial statements and ratio analysis. After that, also we have seen responsibilities and accounting. And from today, we have to start with PERT and CPM. So this is again, we are starting with PERT and CPM. Yes, ma'am. This is also a part of our new batch and existing batch also, ma'am. Sir, sorry. So Vishnu sir, in this batch, you have to watch module A, which is already provided to you, and from module B, you will be getting all the live classes. Correct. So we are starting with the new topic, that is PERT and CPM. What is the full form of PERT and CPM? PERT means project evaluation and review technique. In your book, it is also known as program evaluation and review technique. We have 2 full form of the word PERT. Remember, program and project, both are the same thing. Correct? Examiner can ask you as a program also and as a project evaluation review technique also. Both are the same things. And what is the full form of the CPM? Critical path method. So before reading all these things, I will be giving you an example that what is mean of PERT and what is the meaning of CPM. So suppose this is our organization, some company. Let's keep the name as Tom and Company. And before installing any softwares, they were doing everything by manually. Correct? But one day they decided if they want to be in a competitive world, if they want to survive in this market, they want to adopt new technologies. So they wanted to adopt the new technologies, new softwares in their organizations. But for this software installation, they appointed one company known as, let's assume, Infosys. Correct? We have one company known as Tom and Company, and they want all the things should be in a software form. Now they want to advance as a in a software, so they appointed Infosys. As soon as they appoint the Infosys, their next question is how much time it will be requiring to actually implement the softwares in our whole organization. Correct? So Infosys says that if in a normal situation, if you ask us, it will generally takes around 1 year. It generally takes around 1 year. But there are some uncertainties also, that there might be situations. There, if there uncertainties arises, it can take up to 2 year also. And if least time you ask us, maximum time, that is 3 years. Can you see that Tom and company, they are going to adopt new technologies for the first time, and for that this Infosys company gave three different options. First is like if they will be working in a normal situations, correct? Everything is in their favor, so they can achieve this installation process in 1 year. But if any uncertainty or risk arises, then it can exceed up to 2 years. And the maximum time for adoption of this technology is 3 years. So while evaluating all these things, as soon as the Infosys says we have three different options, this is what PERT. This is what PERT means. Whenever any organization is thinking about long-term projects for the first time, and they don't know that how much time it will be requiring, how much cost, how much efficiency we will be actually give to this task. Anything whichever they are doing for the first time, they have to use what PERT. They have to evaluate different areas, different aspects. They don't have any previous knowledge. As this Tom and company, they don't have any knowledge how to actually handle all these situations. Correct? Though Infosys company will be having, but on this new firm, they don't know how to adopt all these softwares, how they will be choosing this, whether they will be able to tackle all these technologies or not, because it's totally new for them. So this is what, whenever they are analyzing this type of new programs, which is totally new for them. So that thing is a PERT, correct? It is also your futuristic. Both PERT and CPM, both are your futuristic, correct? But PERT is what? In PERT, we don't know how much exactly time it will be requiring for the implementation of the new software in their company. But if you ask me, so what is the difference then CPM? We will be taking different example. Suppose now we are a construction company, correct? We are a construction company, and now we know that how much time it requires to actually construct any, let's say, society, any society. So one order for the construction company to prepare a society. So in this, they said that it will take around 3 years. Along with this much will be your cost, because already they have constructed a lot of societies before. So that's why they can estimate easily, though it is also futuristic. But whenever we can estimate the time, and that work is repetitive work, because this is construction company. They have to again and again prepare the societies, bridges, all these things. So for them, it is easy to tell the time that around 3 years it will be take, because they know whatever the conditions they can face, the uncertainties, everything after considerations, they are saying that it will take 3 years. So this is what CPM, correct? But when we will be studying this whole thing, na, it is as based on your book. I hope it's clear. If new things we are adopting, so we don't know how much time it will require. But if it is a very repetitive process, we know how to tackle it and how much time it will be requiring. So this is the difference between what CPM and PERT. I hope it's clear. Now, if it's clear, we will be reading what is the meaning of this PERT. So is a procedure through which activities of a project are represented in its appropriate sequence and timing. It is scheduling technique used to schedule, organize, and integrate tasks within a project. Correct? Next is your critical path method. It is a technique where you identify tasks that are necessary for project completion and determine scheduling flexibilities. A critical path in project management is the longest sequence of activities that must be finished on time in order for the entire project to complete. The amount of time spent on the activity or project and the number of steps involved are two of the most important factors affecting its outcome. Therefore, it is in the manager's best interest to reduce the total amount of time and money required to complete the activity. Why? Because they already know that which method will be the best method to complete this society. So they will be choosing that time, along with that that cost. Correct. So this is the main difference between PERT and CPM. Now coming to the next, that is management information system, which is also known as MIS. So this is actually a responsibility for providing information that facilitates the making of sound decisions whenever you want to make any decisions, and by using the information systems so that you can make a right decisions. That is the use of management information system. So the managers are able to retrieve any data whenever it is required. It is one of the techniques for cost effectively controlling that managers have their disposal. In addition to this, it helps manage a massive quantity of data, delivers information at precise right moment. The information that is obtained from MIS is reliable and aids in the process of making decisions. So generally MIS considers of two parts. First is the collection of data. Second is management of data. Whatever data you are actually giving to your softwares and how they are providing. You require data, the software will be providing you a data. So this must be present in your MIS, correct? So it is used by the managers to give the different systems, get different data which are required on time and the correct data. So that is what management information system. And next is management audit. So under management audit now we have to see two things. First is what management audit and internal audit. Whenever you are doing the audits, audit is what? Audit is your continuous checking, examining that what you are doing, how you are doing, or any other ways there to increase your efficiency, or is there any other path, or you are hiding something. So for this we are doing what? Audit, correct? So under this topic we have to see two things. First is management audit and next is internal audit. So management audit is what? Whenever you are doing the audit on your top level managements, how they're managing, how they're making the decisions, how they're planning it. Is there any more effective ways, whatever they are already using, or they are focusing on any least part, how they are actually handling organizational structure, everything. Whenever anyone is coming and doing this audit in any top level management, that is what? Management audit. It is started by the top level management in order to guarantee that the management will perform effectively, correct? But whenever they ask about the internal audit may be a continuous affair. Periodicity may depend on the size of the organization, but that management audit may be conducted at intervals decided by the board. Now what is this internal audit? Whenever you are analyzing each and everything in your organization, like lower level managements, how they're doing their activities, how they're adopting the things, whether the policies are actually implemented, new laws are coming, so how you are using it. Like every month something RBIs are issuing their notes, correct? Notices. So under that notices we have different rates. So whether we are adopting all these things, we are in a precisely uh, arranging all these things. So this is how we can find out with the help of internal audit. As this is a continuous affair, we have to continuously see whether we are performing in a better way or we have any other better way, so that we can choose all these things. So this is what internal audit and management audit, correct? So the final conclusion of the financial audit, the next step is the management audit. During the course of the audit, the overall management process will be subjected to closely scrutiny. What is this financial audit? Whenever you are doing the audit on balance sheets, P&L, considering all the monetary terms, that is your financial audit. So this is your next modern technique of control, that is management audit. So here we complete all the different techniques of this control techniques, okay, both the traditional as well as modern techniques. Now next thing we will be starting with selection of techniques of controlling. So whenever any manager wants to choose the different type of techniques, whether to opt for the traditional one, whether to go for the modern one. So before finalizing what type of control technique we are adopting, yes. So this is actually a responsibility for information that facilitates the making of sound decisions whenever you want to make any decisions, and by using the information systems so that you can make a right decisions. That is the use of management information system. So the managers are able to retrieve any data whenever it is required. It is one of the techniques for cost effectively controlling that managers have their disposal. In addition to this, it helps manage a massive quantity of data, delivers information at precise right moment. The information that is obtained from MIS is reliable and aids in the process of making decisions. So generally, MIS considers of two parts. First is the collection of data. Second is management of data. Whatever data you are actually giving to your softwares and how they are provided. You require data, the software will be providing you a data. So this must be present in your MIS, correct? So it is used by the managers to give the different systems, get different datas which are required on time and the correct data. So that is what management information system. And next is management audit. So under management audit now we have to see two things. First is what management audit and internal audit. Whenever you are doing the audits, audit is what? Audit is your continuous checking, examining that what you are doing, how you are doing, or any other ways there to increase your efficiency, or is there any other path, or you are hiding something. So for this we are doing what? Audit, correct? So under this topic we have to see two things. First is management audit and next is internal audit. So management audit is what? Whenever you are doing the audit on your top level managements, how they're managing, how they're making the decisions, how they're planning it. Is there any more effective ways, whatever they are already using, or they are focusing on any least part, how they are actually handling organizational structure, everything. Whenever anyone is coming and doing this audit in any top level management, that is what? Management audit. It is started by the top level management in order to guarantee that the management will perform effectively, correct? But whenever they ask about the internal audit may be a continuous affair. Periodicity may depend on the size of the organization, but that management audit may be conducted at intervals decided by the board. Now what is this internal audit? Whenever you are analyzing each and everything in your organization, like lower level managements, how they're doing their activities, how they're adopting the things, whether the policies are actually implemented, new laws are coming, so how you are using it. Like every month something, RBIs are issuing their notes, correct? Notices. So under that notices we have different rates. So whether we are adopting all these things, we are enough precisely uh, arranging all these things. So this is how we can find out with the help of internal audit. As this is a continuous affair, we have to continuously see whether we are performing in a better way or we have any other better way, so that we can choose all these things. So this is what internal audit and management audit, correct? So the final conclusion of the financial audit, the next step is the management audit. During the course of the audit, the overall management process will be subjected to closely scrutiny. What is this financial audit? Whenever you are doing the audit on balance sheets, P&L, considering all the monetary terms, that is your financial audit. So this is your next modern technique of control, that is management audit. So here we complete all the different techniques of this control techniques, okay, both the traditional as well as modern techniques. Now next thing we will be starting with selection of techniques of controlling. So whenever any manager wants to choose the different type of techniques, whether to opt for the traditional one, whether to go for the modern one. So before finalizing what type of control technique we are adopting, we have to see these many different activities, different scopes. Then only any manager can select the control activities. Okay, so the first is what? First is your geographical. First is your geographical scope of activities. The location, whether you are in within a city or you are outside a city, where you are actually present. So the first thing we have to analyze the location of our industry, of our company. Because of that only we can use the proper strategies, proper control techniques. Correct. Next is overarching management philosophy of a more senior level of management. How the top level managements are interfering in your performance, whether they are looking every day or the top level managements are giving you the free hand. They are delegated everything and you are the one who is taking the actions. And control goals and primary areas of concentrations. What are our objectives, visions that we are going to achieve? Next is accessibility of methods and their ability to meet the requirements. Whatever methods we are adopting, whether we are able to achieve or not. Next is all the associated cost. If we are actually adopting any tech control techniques, whether it's from modern or whether it's from the traditional one, what are the costs actually we have to bear? Patterns seen in industry. If you are in a bank sector, what type of other banks are doing? That in proper industry means a proper way, like every bank will be coming in that industry, whether it's private, whether it's public, whether it's NBFCs, every bank will come under your that industries. Correct. So what type of methods generally other competitors are doing? So we can see and adopt from that also. Necessary personnel for the procedures. Who will be appointing for that manager positions? Next is amount of time that was spent on the entire process. Time also we all require to accomplish the targets. Dependability of the findings that were acquired. So all these things are what the selections of the technique of controlling. Correct. So through this, managers can evaluate that which technique will be very best for our organizations. Next is management control techniques. Under management control techniques, these are used by the company to utilize the management controls so that they can maintain the controls over its information system. See, for this they will be appointing who? They will be appointing in expert committees so that they will be controlling. If any deviation arises, they will be controlling. They will be finding out what are the tasks we can assign to each and everyone. So ultimately in management control technique, they will be appointing one experts so that they can control, they can maintain overall their information system. Next is what? Financial control techniques. See, these are not at all that much important because already this is in a very theory part and normally layman language. So from coming in your exams from these part is least they can ask you. So next is what? Financial control techniques. Under this financial control techniques, the financial transactions like purchasing, like selling, any monetary transactions we are entering into, that will be recorded by using your information systems, because nowadays we are not at all making the books, we are using the softwares to store your data. Correct. So whenever we are storing any data in your what? In your softwares. So how to utilize all these things is as per your financial control techniques. So first thing under this is delegation of financial powers. See, now we have to see different aspects that whenever we are using these softwares for writing each and every financial transactions. So what are the points we have to keep in mind? Okay, just a second. See, for the new installations, we use PERT. Okay. Now, coming back to this topic, financial control techniques. Delegation of financial powers. Delegation of financial powers means whenever any top level managements are giving the power to their next subordinates. That is what delegations. So whenever you are using the financials in the information system, so whom you are delegating, top level management is delegating to which level of management, and what are their responsibilities, what are their steps they can take by themselves. So that is what delegating of financial powers. Next is authorizations. See, employees need to be authorized before assessing any kind of systems, any kind of softwares. Correct? In our organizations also, whenever we are using any kind of desktop or any kind of services, we have already given some kind of accessibility that you can access this much amount, you can access this much amount. So that if you are authorized, then only you can use these many things. No one can come just from the outside and use any kind of softwares which we are using. Correct? Because we have given the login credentials, we know the passwords, so it is authorized by the top level management that who can use it, who will be doing the entries, who will be assigning this task, everything. So that is what authorization. Next is budgetary control. Budgetary control is what, whatever we are setting the standards, whatever we are setting the standards, and whenever we are comparing it to the actuals, that whether we are performing in a standard way only, whatever we have planned, whatever we have selected, only those steps our employees are also working. But when we are actually implementing those steps, there are chances that we can divert in anything, because of which there will be the differences. Correct? So how to control all these things? It will be including your cost. Mainly it will be including your cost, that suppose for this implementations we required this much amount, but when implementation is started, the cost exceeded. So how to control all these deviations? That is what budgetary control. Next is cancellation of documents. See, in big organizations, whenever they are cancelling any documents, it is not at all possible to cancel any documents that freely. Correct? Because there might be a situations that you will be requiring different persons approvability. If different persons will approve, then only you can cancel the documents. You just cannot stand and tell, okay, this is of no use, and you can tear it and throw it. No, that much easy is not to cancel any document. But if you are canceling it, you have to properly destroy it. Otherwise, anyone can use it in future against you by telling any kind of points. Correct? So the cancellation of documents are very important. If you are canceling any documents, you have to go to the trash machines. Okay, in big organizations, we have the trash machines under which we actually put the papers, and after that it will be converted into trash. You don't have to tear it up, the machines will be doing all those things. So we have to adopt this type of things if we are tearing any kind of documents or we are canceling any kind of documents. So this is what cancellation of documents, even it is covered in your financial control techniques. Now next is your input output verifications. Whatever you are putting, whatever the data you are actually putting in your softwares, so the same way it is converted into output. So this is what input and output verifications. You want to analyze what is the rate of interest you have to give to your FDs. Correct? So you have to put the rate, you have to put the formulas, and after seeing the final result, whether your softwares are able to calculate the result or not correctly by using the updated rate of return. So that is what, whatever you are inputting in your systems, they are able to convert in output in a correct way or not. So that is what input output verifications. Safekeepings. Safekeepings are what, each and every safe that contain the login passwords for servers and information technology systems needs to be logged, like using the biometric. Correct? In big organizations, we have seen how the biometrics are used, or that only specified or authorized persons are only given the authorizations that they can enter after verifying their biometrics, or the big lockers, big pin codes we have to put there. So that is what safekeeping. Next is segregation of duties. Segregation of duties means what? Separation of duties that requires after a predetermined amount of time. Each employee should switch roles. In banks also, you have seen that cash department persons, they have to go compulsorily leave on for 10 or 15 days as per your banks. So for this, they are doing what? Job rotations. So that if anyone is doing any kind of frauds, So that cannot be happen if that person goes on the leave. Some other person will come, they will be doing the same thing, and while doing the same thing they can find out, oh, that's the problem, that person is not at all taking the leaves. So that's the compulsory thing which banks are giving to each and every employees. And if they are not sending you on the leaves, they will be switching the rules on a timely basis. Correct? Otherwise, the chances of fraud increases. So that's what segregation of duties changes, switch of roles time to time. Then so here we complete all the financial control techniques. Now we will be starting with data processing environment control techniques. So what is this data processing environment control techniques? So the company out to appoint some specialist for the control of the data processing environment. See, we cannot, every person cannot have all the knowledge. We require the experts, correct? If any person who is in software making, they are experts in the software, correct? Like I am a chartered accountant, so I am expert in what auditing, in the income tax things, but I cannot see what the other softwares are doing. I will be requiring the specific persons. So all these things, the specific persons we will be requiring, but requiring the specific persons, we require the proper storage, the safeguard of all these things. See, in this way, we'll be reading one example that recently I noticed that one of my electric wires was sparking. Because I acted quickly, I was able to save not only my inverter but also all of the other electrical equipments. See, we need the experts to control all these things, but we need also those kind of peoples who are overlooking each and everything. The persons who is cleaning it daily, we have to keep one persons to cross check it whether everything is okay, timely cleanliness of everything. Like servers, no one is actually going into that server room, so we have to keep in a proper safe room. Proper cleaning must be there, because there might be some dust which can come and sit on that server, and if a thick layer sits on that server, it can destroy our server. So the proper cleaning must be present. And if any time there are so many electric wires, so all the electricity supply are in a good condition or not, if anywhere you see there is a spark happening, you have to complain to the IT departments or any electrical departments. So for this, we don't need any experts. We need normal persons. We need lower level managements to overview all this kind of things. Where our data is present, we have to keep regular checking. If any uncertainties you are observing, you have to communicate it uh, simultaneously to your senior managements, that we have seen the spark, we have seen the about water loggage there. These kind of things we have to communicate, because of which we can see a big happenings, correct? So this is what data processing environment control techniques. Now next is physical access control techniques. Means the physical access means you will be requiring the safe security guard uncle physically, CCTV cameras. Physically, you have to put all these things. You have to physically give login credentials to each and everyone who wants to access the documents. So that is what physical access control techniques. So the physical access means refers to an unauthorized third party reaching into your database, so that no third party who don't have any authorizations can reach into your server area or any specific area which is very confidential area. Only who has having the credentials after approving of the security guard, only we can say that you can enter that area, correct? So this is what physical access control techniques. Now next is what logical access control techniques. As nowadays we are listening now, hacking and viruses. So we have to take a very much different steps to protect our softwares, because nowadays everyone is easily hacked. Anyone can easily hack my phone, anyone can easily hack bank server. So the banks have to use a lots of antiviruses. so that no one can come easily into their software, because if anyone hacks their software, can you imagine, they can take all the monies from the bank. Recently I have read one news, it is based on the Noida, that in one bank, I don't remember the name, but someone actually hacked their server, and they have actually transferred around some crores. And this is a recent news we have seen in Noida bank only. I don't know the bank actually name. That name of the bank I'm forgetting. Okay, so like this, you have to give what we have to use the different ways, so that no one can actually enter in our banking systems. No one can hack these systems. Correct. So we can use for this antiviruses and SDLA control techniques. This SDLA control technique is what? SDLA means System Development Life Cycle. How you are developing your systems. So in exams, they can ask you this SDLA control techniques. So the standardizations of the systems development life cycle is one way that this can be accomplished. So the proper standards you have to select for the development of any life cycle or any softwares in your organization. Next is what? BCP control techniques. And this is also in your previous exams, they asked about this full form. This means business continuity process, means maintaining control of won't be impossible if you have a sufficient number of backups and a solid recovery strategy in place in case the system is destroyed. There are the situations like the earthquake, like the flood. In that kind of situations, our server can do the backup or not. So for that, we will be requiring the proper timely backups, that after every 15 days, we will be doing the backup thing. Or after every day, if your organization is big, we are doing the backup thing. And if any kind of natural disasters occur, whether our servers can actually save all those things, whether in those situations the servers can transfer all those things which is present in that server into the cloud or not. If it's destroyed, everything will be destroyed. Correct. So keeping the servers in a very proper way in situations like uncertainties, like natural disaster or any human disasters. So at that time, all these backups must be transferred to our cloud, or we can easily use it in future words or not. So that is what BCP control techniques. Now, coming to the next, that is application control techniques. Application control techniques means what? If you want accurate result from your information systems, means from your softwares, we require, you need to make sure that you are following the application controls. Whatever we are using the applications, we need to control all those applications. So you need to make sure that your IT system will be able to apply all of the computer based systems. Before moving forward with it, it is necessary to block unauthorized access to the recorded database in every computer based system, so that changes cannot be made and data cannot be removed. So widely we use what? We use two things. An auditor also needs to keep an eye on SAP and QuickBook. These are the things an auditor can keep an eye for the safeguarding of the applications. See, whatever applications we are using in our organizations, that must be authorized by only the authorized persons. Correct? If you are the part of the bank and if you are in that positions, then only you can access it. Suppose there are days when we can make some errors. Ultimately, we all are humans, so we can make any kind of human errors. So if we are making any errors, so whether you can rectify it or not, if you are able to rectify it, means you have the authority. Otherwise, you cannot just go and make the changes in any kind of data in your applications. So if you are the one who can make the changes, means you are authorized person. So that is what, whenever you are using the application, different types of in your organization, you have to see that no some random person can come and change any kind of applications whatever we are using. Only the authorized person have this kind of thing. Correct. Now, that following two categories are frequently used to describe IT controls. So the first is controls over the information technology environment. So for this, we have to see IT Governance Council. So this is a kind of a committee which is actually a semi-government. We have one semi-government firm which is known as IT, means Information Technology Governance Council, as this serves the structure pillar, a primary pillar, because this supports the assertions, this supports the system that operates as intended and that output is reliable, in addition to helping to ensure the accuracy of the data that is produced by information technology systems. So in very big firms like big banks or any particular companies like Infosys, so the governments are also coming and giving them the different steps so that they can make their data in more reliable way, in more safe way. So for that, governments are also taking the initiatives, correct? So like that, they have set up the IT Governance Council. Like in big like PNB and like Axis Bank, they are appointing this ITGC Governance Council persons, and whenever they are coming, they are telling that how we can keep our everything in a safeguard, like the cyber security, correct? So these are what IT Governance Council. Like cyber security, we have that department is also of the government. So along with that, the IT Governance Council persons will also come and tell you that what are the steps you can take to safeguard your technologies in your organization. Now coming to the next, the following categories of controls are typically included in ITGC. So what are the different controls? Like first is control the environment, specifically the controls that is designed to mold the company's culture or set tone at the top. Means they also tell you how your control of your environment, any particular organizations, if they are going, they can tell how you can convert your cultures, each and everything. Next is change management procedures are controls that are designed to make sure that the changes are authorized and that they meet the requirements of the business. Whatever changes you are adopting, it must be authorized, and if you are using any kind of changes, whether you have the suitability or not, whatever changes you are taking, whether it will be suited for your business or not. So this is again will be taken by the ITGC. They will be telling you all these things. This is English batch. Sure, I will be sharing the link, correct? Yes, Himanshu sir, any doubt? Okay, till then we will be proceeding. So procedures for controlling the versions of sources code and documents, which are actually controls designed to preserve the program's original intent. So whenever you are using any softwares, that softwares or that programs must not change your input data. Whatever you are putting, that thing only should be your output data related to it, correct? So this is what again the next categories of control, which will also be actually discussed by the ITGC. Next is software development life cycle, that is SDLC, what we have seen previously also. Next is logical access policies, standards, processes or controls that are designed to manage to access in accordance with the requirements of the business. Policies and procedures for incidental management are a set of controls designed to address errors. If any errors that occur during an operational process, how you are going to manage it. If you are giving the logical access, you are giving the authorization. So how that authorization is in a standard way. What are the different processes you are giving to your managers, which can actually use your data. Managers can use any kind of data they want, but that must be in a standard way, correct? And after this, again, the policies and procedures for specific any problem management are controls that are intended to identify and address the underlying causes of incidents. If any incident occurs, like a fire, like any hacking, so how you are going to control all those things? So that is what again the causes of incidents, you have to find out that where is our actually the weak point. Next is policies and procedures for technical support, which helps the users work more effectively and report problems. These policies also include the procedures. So in this point, we are requiring the technical support. Technical support which actually uses the work of your workers who work more effectively, and even as soon as they see the problem in your organizations, they reports each and everything to you. Next is what? Configuration of hardware and software. Proper seeing of your hardware and softwares, proper configurations, proper installation, testing, managing all the policies and procedures which are related to specifically that software and hardware. That is our point I. Now, next is disaster recovery backup and recovery procedures. In flood, in earthquake, how you are actually backing up all your things, and after a few days how you are going to recover all these things, that must also be discussed by the ITGCs. Next is controls to ensure that the information technology physical safety from both individuals and environmental hazards. These type of security is referred to as physical security, like security guard. You are putting the CCTV cameras, you are keeping the biometric from all the persons who can harm individually also, and your environmental hazards also. So these are your what ITGC's control categories. Now next is what IT application controls. So first we have seen the ITGCs, correct? Firstly, we have seen this ITGCs, how they are coming and helping us and improving our methodology of our organizations. Now we are coming with next, that is IT application controls. So under this IT application controls, the transaction processing controls, also known as input processing output, that is IPO controls. We also call them as IPO, input processing output controls. So whatever you are putting in your softwares, that software must process that thing only and should give the proper output, correct? So this is what input processing output controls. So it is meant that whatever applications we are using, that applications must actually adopt only those things which we are giving as an input and processing that required inputs, and by giving the proper output. And for this we use one of the methods which is actually international methods, that is Sarbanes-Oxley Act. So this act is actually we had adopted from the foreigners, as they also controls related to information technology have been given a greater level of importance in American corporations. So in Americas they use what? Sarbanes-Oxley Act for this IT application control. So in India also we have adopted this Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Like we adopt so many things now from the Britishers, like GST we have adopted from different country. So whenever we are seeing that something is happening in a very precise way in other countries, they are in a successful way, so we adopt that same thing. Like in India, we again for the IT applications control, we adopted what? We adopted the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which is actually used in the Americans corporations for the safety of their application IT applications, correct? So the controls of an IT applications or program are fully automated, which means that they are performed automatically by the systems, because now systems are becoming what? Automatic. They are processing by themselves and they are giving you the ultimate data. You just have to put the input, they will be processing automatically and they are giving you the output data. So if any uncertainty happens in between processing, or any person's actually changes any kind of data, which will be leading to what? They will not be giving you the proper data. So our IPO must be in a proper way, in a proper hand. For this, we also use what? Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which is used by the Americans. So this is done to ensure that the data are processed correctly and completely from the time they are input till they are output. So we are actually seeing the keeping an eye from input to the output by using this act, correct? Now, following are the examples of different categories IT applications are used. Like first is checks for completeness or controls that ensure that all records have been processed from the beginning to the end. That same thing, from the input to the output, everything is correctly processed or not. Whatever data we have inputted, they have used it or not. Next is validity checks, are controls that ensure only valid data is input or processed. Whatever you're putting in your software, in your applications, correct? So your input data must be very correct. Valid data we have to keep. Next is identification, controls that make sure that every user can be definitely and unmistakably pinned down as who they are. Means identification, whoever person is actually putting the data, that must have, that person must have the authority. So your that system must identify it, whether that person is authorized person or not. So that is what identification. Next is under this only, authentication refers to the controls within the application system that offers a method for user authentication. Next is authorization, refers to the controls that ensure that the application system is only accessible to business users who have pre-approved by the top level management. If you got the authorization, then only you can use this application. Then next is forensic controls, also known as controls that ensure the data is correct mathematically and scientifically based on inputs and the outputs. So scientific control means your data must be accurate. Whether you are asking in a mathematically way, if you are asking in a scientifically way also, your data must be correct in inputs also and into the outputs also. Correct. Next is your IT control and the CIO and CISO. Now we are going into the organizations. First we have seen, like in governments are giving us what? ITGC, that is our semi government department, which is that is like cyber security we have, correct? So that is what semi government part. Next we have seen the application controls, like act we have adopted from the different country. Now we are starting to read in our specific organizations, whenever we are appointing someone to overlook each and everything. So for that we also have the, like CEOs, like CFOs. This type of IT persons is known as chief information officer, CIO, or the chief information security officer of an organization, is the one who is accountable for the safety, accuracy, and the dependability of the systems. So now we are coming into organizations. So in organizations also we have chief information officers, chief information security officers, CISO, because they are accountable for what? They are accountable for all the safety, accuracy, and the dependability of the systems that manage and report the company's data, which also includes the financial data. So ultimately, if you ask that in companies, who are the persons who are actually accountable of your IT? They are your CIO and CISO. CEO and CISO are the persons who are actually controlling IT in any organizations, correct? And they are accountable for what? Three things: safety, accuracy, and dependability. And coming to the next point, that is, it includes financial data also. Now, financial accounting and enterprise resource planning systems are integrated in the initiating, authorizing, processing, and reporting of financial data. So, these systems may also be involved in Sarbanes-Oxley compliance to the extent they mitigate particular financial risk. So they also actually see what are the risks, and by analyzing, by using the act Sarbanes-Oxley, they can identify it, that these are the financial risks they can see in any organizations. Correct. So this is what IT control and CO and CISO. Now next is internal control framework. Under internal control framework, how you are controlling your organization, that is first given by the CAIIB, also known as the Control Objectives for Information Technology Framework. Remember, CAIIB means what? CAIIB is also known as Control Objectives for Information Technology Framework. Okay? So CAIIB is, this is the full form of CAIIB. Again, it's very important in exam, they can ask you what is the full form of CAIIB. So CAIIB framework is Control Objectives of Information Technologies. This is a framework that has seen widespread adoption and the use of developed IT governance institute. So they actually use the frameworks which is actually given by the ITGCs and the applications of the objectives as well the recommendations evaluation approaches. So they actually use whatever different varieties of framework given by the ITGCs and also the application controls, whatever the objectives and recommendations we want for the different approaches in any organizations. So that is the framework of CAIIB. And the that CEO, Chief Information Officer of an organization, is typically the person in charge of the IT department. This individual is accountable for ensuring that whatever data we are using, that must be efficient data for the controlling whatever we are utilizing. So CAIIB is what is a framework that is widely used that contains best practice for the governance and management of information and technology, and it is also directed towards the organization as a whole. It is made up of different domains and process. So ultimately in your organization we have what CEO and CIO and CISO, correct? So these are the persons who are the responsible, who will be actually accountable for all these things. So ultimately the CEO person is the person who is in charge of IT department. That person will be accountable for every informations you are using for your organizations. So they will be using kind of a CAIIB framework. Now CAIIB framework is what? It is a combination whatever the ITGCs are seeing, whatever the act is saying, and how they are using in your organizations, because each and every organization's goal is different, their working is different. So as per your organization, which is best is actually decided by who? By the Chief Information Officer. So by choosing from all the different ITs, different steps, you will be choosing one CAIIB. That is what Control Objectives for Information Technology, which is actually suitable for your specific organization. That is what CAIIB. So it is made up of different domains and different processes, okay, as per your objectives of the organization. Now next is what? COSO. COSO means Committee of Sponsoring Organization. So under COSO, it is a trade way of commissions and identifies 5 components of any internal control. That is control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication and monitoring. So COSO is what? COSO is Committee of Sponsoring Organizations, under which they actually see the internal control. They actually see the internal controls of your organizations by identifying what are the controls you are using in environment, what are the risks associated with within your organizations, how you can control all the risk which actually you are seeing. After this, information and communication, how you are using this information technologies in your organization and how you are going to communicate, use it, all these things. And finally monitoring it, that whatever you have adopted, whatever you have assessed in your organizations, whether you are able to monitor it or not, if any deviations are occurring, how you are correcting all those things. So that is what monitoring. And the CAIIB offers comparable and detailed guidance for information, while the interrelated wall IT focuses on higher level of IT governance and value for money concerns. So there are 5 aspects of COSO. There are 5 aspects of COSO which are actually represented mentally as the horizontal layers of 3-dimensional cube. And the objective of domains of CAIIB can be thought of as applying both each one separately and of the whole. So there are 4 special different major domains. That is, first is planning and organizing, first is, second is acquiring and implementing, third is delivering and supporting, and fourth is monitoring and evaluating. So this is what CAIIB, COSO, everything what our organizations see this person Chief Information Officer can use for evaluating different ITs for specific domains or specific organizations. So this is all about the controlling unit. So here we complete our module A. Here we complete our module A. All these 6 units. All these 6 units we complete here. Correct? So now you are actually ready with 25 to 30 marks of your total 100 marks. You just have to do the revisions. You have to just do the give to a mock test as much as you can, so that you can get the confidence, because module A is totally what this is totally based on your theory. So I hope everything is clear. I hope everything is clear. Here we complete our module A. So from tomorrow, sir, whatever things I'm giving, I can provide you this only. So under this only, I will be giving you this handouts and everything, because these are the notes which are actually framed by us only. So these are nothing other than like handouts. Any doubt apart from this? Okay, I will be sharing you with my Telegram link. Just a second. Give me a moment. I will be sharing the link. Okay. It will take some time. So if anyone wants to leave, they can leave the sessions. Okay. So the next thing. Okay, MCQ for module A. From where you have purchased this full session now. So you must have downloaded the app. So in app, whenever you see the live classes, in the next side you can see the test series, and the test series will be consisting of topic wise also, and a full mock test also. So you can give the test from that. If anyone wants to leave, they can leave. Acha, okay, one more thing. So this is actually a common and available to our YouTube candidates also. If any candidates are seeing from the YouTube, so if till now you haven't subscribed or enrolled in our batches, you can just visit to our site. That is, just a second. That is under 24/7. Under this, you have to press under 24/7 all courses, and as soon as you see JIB CIB, you have to click on CIB November 2024. So these are the batches which have just started just now, because you have the persons. If you haven't enrolled, you can enroll in these batches. So this is basically total in total English, and this is what bilingual batches. So if you click on this, you can use one special code to get the extra discount, that is Y895. As soon as you click on apply, you will be getting the discount of 80%. Correct? And if you use the other 24/7, you will be getting 1% extra off. So don't forget to use the code Y895, so that you can get the validity of up to 6 months also, along with this 80%. And for additional 1%, you have to download the other 24/7 app. Then only you can use that 1% off. Okay. श्रीराम सर, एक बार ना आप सपोर्ट टीम से बात कर लीजिए, वरना मैं तो आपका ये कन्वे कर ही देती हूँ. सर मुझे ना श्रीराम सर अपनी ना मुझे मेल आईडी सेंड कर दीजिए प्लीज. मैं ना ये कन्वे कर देती हूँ. Okay, so I'm so sorry that today I can't share that Telegram link. Tomorrow I will be sharing surely the Telegram link with you all, because now I cannot use that Gmail site. I don't know what's the issue I'm facing. So we will be winding up this session today only. I will be sharing this Telegram link tomorrow surely, because currently I am not able to use this Gmail right now. Shriram sir, please send me your mail ID, sir. Then only I can resolve your this doubt. If you are present, yes. Okay, sir. I forwarded this to our management. As soon as they give me the response, I will share with you, sir. Okay, everyone, thank you, have a great day, bye bye, take care. So from tomorrow we will be starting module B. So here we complete our module A. I request please revise as much as possible, because this is totally based on theory. So if you want to clear your CAIIB in your first attempt, now this carries a very important marks in your exams. Okay, bye everyone, thank you, have a great day.